Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Internet Speed. I work for an internet provider company as a lead in the internet repair department. This means that I get calls from agents who work there that either need help with a situation because they are stuck and don't know what to do, or when a customer escalates the call, asking for a supervisor, manager, or someone above them. My department mainly handles internet issues, like being offline, outages, replacing equipment, etc. The other day was like any other. I'm getting calls from agents needing equipment transferred from one account to another, scheduling a technician for customers who refuse to do any troubleshooting. The list goes on and on. One of my main calls is an agent asking for me to run a special tool that corrects the speed being sent to a customer. This usually happens when a customer upgrades or downgrades their internet speed, and it doesn't take right away, and this only takes a couple minutes. On this particular day, I get a call from an agent that says her customer wants to speak to a supervisor because he is not getting the speeds he pays for. This happens quite a lot, usually because most people don't understand how the internet works and all the factors that come into the result of a speed test. This can include a lot of things, like how far away you are from your router, if you are testing on Wi-Fi or directly connected, how many devices you are currently using, and even things like how your residence is built, because stone and concrete do not allow Wi-Fi signals to travel through. When I looked at the customer's account, I see that he is currently subscribed to 100 megabits per second. Our normal plans are 300, 500 and a gig. I asked the agent what results he was getting, and she told me it was 437, which is way over what he is paying for. I told the agent to go ahead and transfer him to me, and I'll continue the discussion. Let's call the customer Darren. Once Darren gets to me, I introduce myself and ask how I can help. Darren immediately begins yelling and cursing at me about how he is not getting what he pays for, and is extremely upset, and even demanding credit to his account because of this. I begin to try and apologize to Darren, and explain that speed test results can vary based on certain conditions. He cuts me off and states that he is recording the call and will be posting everything I say on social media. I tell him that that is fine, as all our calls are recorded for quality assurance purposes as well, and everything will be documented. Darren then proceeds to continue cursing, stating that this is unacceptable and I should be ashamed of myself for working for a company that does not provide the product people are paying for. While he rants on and on, I noticed that he had recently changed his internet plan from 500 to 100 2 days ago. Sometimes the internet changes don't happen right away, and we have to run a specific tool to fix it. This can happen when the modem has not been reset to reflect these changes. I try to tell Darren that he is receiving more than what he is paying for, and again, he cuts me off, stating that he will be reporting us to the FCC, BBB, and filing a lawsuit about this, all while recording our conversation. Now, normally I wouldn't care, and I'd allow the speed to continue going through until the system automatically fixes it. But his attitude and rude demeanor made me feel otherwise. I respond to Darren, saying, "Sir, you are absolutely right, and I am so sorry you are not receiving the speeds you are paying for. I will get this fixed right away." Now, this plan that Darren was on, the 100 speed, is a plan that only certain customers can get if they are financially unable to make normal payments, meaning he had to apply for this program and be approved based on his low income. So I run the fix tool on his internet and reduce the speed down to 100 as he requested. I then asked him how his speed results are now. Darren then responds, "It's even worse than it was before. What kind of tricks are you trying to pull on me?" I responded, "Sir, you told me you were not getting the speeds you were paying for, and you were right. You recently applied for financial assistance to be downgraded to 100, and I fixed it for you. It was absolutely wrong of us to be sending you 500 when you were only paying for 100. I apologize for the inconvenience." After a few minutes of silence, Darren then muffled to himself, "This is ridiculous," and proceeded to disconnect the call. I left notes on his account, so any future agent would know what had happened that day, and that he was not entitled to any credit on his bill. All I can say is, be careful what you complain about. The next story is called Never Call Again. About a dozen years ago, I was working in a banking call center. The company was informed of some governmental change that required us to have a tax ID number for everyone with our business credit card account, and we had some ridiculously short time frame to be in compliance. There were tens of thousands of accounts with this ID missing, as it hadn't been previously required. A big group of us were given lists of customers and told to call them and ask for the tax ID number. If they had it, we added it to the account and all was well. If they didn't have it, we were to switch them to a consumer, non-business card. If they didn't want that, we'd cancel on the spot. Due to the short time frame for compliance, the customer had to tell us on the call which they preferred. Another nifty caveat was that we were only making 2 calls and were not leaving messages. We couldn't drag this out, waiting for people to eventually call us back. If we got the person on the first call, we were done. If we still didn't get them on the second call either, the account was auto-cancelled. This sounds like a horrible job to do, but it was actually going really well. 99% of the people I called were happy to comply or switch accounts. Then I called Karen. The phone rang, and I was about to hang up when I heard that pause and double ring that tells you the call was forwarded. So I waited. Then I heard Karen. What? I could hear background noise like she was out in public. "Hi, this is Jane Doe with this bank. And why the heck are you calling my cell phone? Are you stupid? I've told you people to never call this number." "I didn't. The call was..." "Now you're going to lie to me? Pay attention. Never call me again. I use your credit card for everything and pay it, so you have no reason to call me. Got it?" "Yes, but..." She disconnected before I could finish talking. So the malicious compliance kicks off. I spoke to her, maybe a dozen words. She didn't provide her tax ID, and I can't call her back because she said to never do that. So the next button was cancel. And the notes were, customer did not provide the tax ID and demanded we never call her again. I really hope she was out shopping and had fun when her card was declined at the next store. The third story is called Contractual Agreement. I work in the apparel industry, and one of our customers is a company who frequently finds itself on lists of top 10 in the Americas. From our location, one of their gigantic distribution centers is only about 90 minutes away. Once when we did a very small order for them, we thought instead of shipping it ExpressX, why not just drop it off at their DC? Since the shipping address was to their DC, it would get there faster than by ExpressX, and cheaper too. When our driver went there, the DC refused to take delivery. No problem, we called the person in charge on their side with our company, and we laid out the problem. The person was extremely rude and simply said, "We do not intend to accept any deliveries made, other than the contractual method of using ExpressX," and shot off multiple emails to our VP, President, and our holding company CEO about not following contractually required methods. So our driver comes back. We shipped the product using ExpressX. 3 weeks ago, we got a frantic call and a decently large but extremely urgent order. We have our time estimates to complete the work, and the shipping date we would be able to manage. Agreed upon in email. We shipped it through ExpressX, even though it was said to use any means necessary to try to get it to them by the shipping date. Enraging phone calls and screaming duels. Our holding company CEO went over their vendor's manager's head and to their purchasing and inventory VP, complained about the manager's behavior and their previous email about only using ExpressX as contractually stated, and our adherence to the shipping date, as we packed the trailer and locked it with a seal and date on it. The ExpressX semi came at 1 AM to pick up the trailer. Not our fault. We followed the contractually stated rules. They just lost 9 major universities in college football from their vendor management portfolio. The last story is called Free Minimum. I have always hated mowing the lawn. At the same time, I don't want to be that neighbor, so I do my best to stay on top of the lawn. However, while I started out strong this summer, I had a series of medical issues that left me in a state that mowing was a bit too much than I could handle. Add in a few other excuses on the few remaining times I could mow. The lawn was making me look like I was the neighbor I didn't want to be. I decided I'd pay someone to mow for a change, and then pick it back up once it was back under control. My first mistake was when the company I contacted had advertised a one-time cut, but when calling to schedule service, notified me they had a free cut minimum. I should have backed out then, but I didn't. The first mower showed up and cancelled the mowing, claiming my lawn was over 23 inches, and as such for excessive height, proceeded to list that they charged me a 500% markup for the service. The photos taken were of the few higher points in the lawn, on my front yard. With a tape measure you couldn't read the numbers off of. I was annoyed to say the least, and I tried to originally cancel here, but was hit with the whole contract bid. So I told them I'd mow it, and I just used them to end the season and take it easy. I actually only mowed the front lawn, and even then, not the whole lawn. Miraculously, 2 weeks later, the mower that showed up did the whole lawn, and somehow didn't see the backyard. That I left untouched was a problem. The next mowing day came and went, and no one showed, so I reported it and cancelled the mowing through the app. Despite cancelling, someone showed up the following day. I'm annoyed and I want out. So I go into the app and try to cancel my service again. It looks like the service was cancelled and I saved screenshots. Then today I get a message saying my mower is on the way. Here's the thing, we have had our drought for the last month or so. It's the end of the season and my lawn hasn't grown even a ½ inch in the last 2 weeks. I'm beyond furious at this point. I wait until the guy shows up. I talk to him. He's a great guy. He's a contractor for this booking company, which is what I thought was the case. He tells me he gets this all the time. He lets me know he's going to send a message to the company. I felt bad his time got wasted, but there wasn't much I could do about that. An hour later I get a message showing I'm rescheduled for tomorrow. I am done. So I call them up, and after speaking with one agent, I get to the escalation team. He tells me my service is cancelled, but I still have one mowing as per the contract. We go back and forth for a bit, and he won't budge. I asked him if he would schedule snow removal in the middle of summer. So why should I schedule mowing when it isn't needed? Nothing. Fine. Schedule me for June in 2047. June when, sir? June 4th, 2047. I'm sure I need my lawn mowed then. We can't schedule that far in advance. He's insistent it has to be this or next year, but I keep pushing, and I remind him that I agreed to a free cut minimum, and nowhere in any of the conversations did the company specify a restriction on when, so I wanted to schedule it on June 4th, 2047, and he needed to schedule it. One moment sir, while I talk to support. I wait for another few minutes, and then he comes back. Your service is fully cancelled. No one is coming out. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.